Well, hello everyone. I want you to know that you have been happy 2021. It is January 19th. It's a new broadcast with new topics, new guests, and it is the eve. For some, it's the wonderful eve of a new dawn. For us, as we all know, the nation is preparing for the inauguration tomorrow. And many of us are praying for a peaceful day. I'm Carmen Milagro, and welcome back. It's Confidence Strategies. I'm a confidence strategist and an entrepreneurist, and I'm your host for Confidence Strategies 2021. The series is going to be taking place every third Tuesday of the month, so be sure that you join us third Tuesday every month, 7 p.m. During these interviews, what I hope is that you'll continue to learn confidence strategies that help you pivot and reinvent yourself for a brighter future, for better opportunities, for bigger options. That's really the continued goal of confidence strategies. Our guests share their personal stories of triumph and challenges and passion and purpose so that you can hopefully learn a little bit about coping skills and techniques. We were going to focus on one technique today about self-care, but it's all good and it's all positive. That's the common goal that we have here. And I hope that you'll be inspired and delighted and entertained and engaged. So with that said, I have one question for you all. And hopefully you will share your replies to this question. The question is, what did you learn about yourself in 2020 that you had no idea was a part of your tapestry? So hopefully we'll get some responses to that question. I need to remind you that tonight's webisode is sponsored in part by Music City, San Francisco, as always, and our featured guest, a certified open alpha self-care trainer. And she helps people stay calm and positive and true to themselves through music and imagination. So that their end goal is that they can envision themselves and pursue their goals and do this, pursue their goals and their dreams and do this with peace of mind. Now, for me, I'm going to answer my question for 2020. That was one of the things that I learned about myself. The importance of my peace of mind is my number one priority. And I didn't know that before 2020. So now that I do know that, I'm super intrigued to learn more along with you about this technique. And I want to learn more of what it and how it can help people wade through the residual effects, especially from last year. So I am going to bring her on. Her name is Yumi Tomita. Welcome, Yumi. Thanks for joining me tonight. You're my first guest of the year.
Thank you, Carmen. Happy New Year. And thank you so much for the nice introduction.
Yes, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to have someone such as yourself who is working in the community and helping people, giving them tools to live a better life. I'm going to really start my questions to you so that we can get to know you a little bit better. If you don't mind sharing with us a little bit of personal information, where were you born? Where are you from? And then we'll just go from there.
Okay. Well, it's such an honor to be here, Carmen. And my name is Yumi, and I'm from Japan. And I moved to California with my family at the age of 13. So I've been here for 21 years, and by that, you can probably calculate my age. But yes, and then I actually I started doing this about 3 years ago, sharing the self-care program. But I
Okay.
actually met the program about 8 years ago or 9 years ago. And
Well,
since then, it became my passion.
okay. But what did you do before this? And we'll get into it. We'll get into some of the details and
Mhm.
maybe even a demo, but before this.
Before this, yes,
Mhm.
before this, I was actually working in the food industry for over 10 years. I was helping customers and clients make the product that they want um, to
Oh,
make. So I was the R&D and food
oh,
scientist, and it was actually very fun
yeah.
making products.
And how did this transition? I mean, how did that happen? Because that's a very different, certainly that's a very different arena of expertise. Can you share with us sort of, because I think one of the key themes of 20 for a lot of people, most of us, was pivoting and changing from what we used to do into
That's
something
right.
new. So I'd love to learn about how that happened for you.
So I went through two pivots.
Mhm.
Um, so actually, my lifelong dream was to be a doctor and to study medicine. And that was my long time passion for me, and it still is to, in a way, to help people. My passion is to really help people, and I've been searching for ways to, like, what is it exactly for me to do that. And
Mhm.
for me, the longest time I thought medicine was the answer for me, but I had this philosophy in my mind that, because I went through allergies, serious allergies ever since I was little, and I was going through health problems, and my parents had a really hard time raising me, and I've learned how important it is to take care of myself at an early age, and that was the foundation for me. But actually, after I graduated from college, I realized medicine wasn't really for me, but then I was lost. I didn't know what to do, like what is it for me that I want to do with my life. That was the first time that really made me think of that. And food actually wasn't in my option for me, but I did love food. For anybody who knows me well, they know I love food so much. I love to eat.
Me too.
But um, so actually, I got into food by coincidence. So that was the very first job that I got after I graduated from college, and I stayed in there, and I did actually pretty good. I got used to working in the food industry. I got to know so many people, and I loved people in the food industry. They were just very friendly, and but deep down in my heart, I knew that this wasn't what I dreamed of doing. It wasn't aligning with. It wasn't something that came from the bottom of my heart, if that makes sense.
Sure, sure, of course. And isn't that part of self-care?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know that we use that word a lot. There's a lot of talk and there's a lot of programs. There's a lot of people that talk about wellness and self-care. What's what I've learned is that different people have different definitions of what self-care means. For some people it's and here I am, I've got my candles everywhere. Sometimes that is what I need. I like the scent. It just it calms me. I turn down the light. Like sometimes that's the perfect ending for the day for me, and that is self care. But other times it's completely different. Sometimes it's reading a book and
Mhm.
taking just a break in the middle of the day. Sometimes not lately, but it you know, getting massages, and sometimes it was at so different times there were different things that I have done and I continue to do, and I define it as my self-care. What's the definition of self-care for you?
Yes, so for me, self-care means, so those are good, those are perfect. So each person, I believe, has a way to self-care themselves. But when I say self-care trainer or self-care, it means staying true to yourself.
Mm,
So sometimes when we have so many things going on and trying to take care of everything, we tend to sacrifice ourselves.
right.
And so by self care, I mean staying true to myself.
That's great. That's so great. If you were to say, you know, what is the one thing that people deny? You know, I think that sometimes people think that self-care is being selfish. I don't think that. I've never thought that. I totally disagree with that statement, because I just feel like if you're not taking care of yourself, then how can you take care of everyone else, especially as women or as moms or as aunties, you know, or godmothers or teachers, you know, and how do we help people who feel that it's selfish to take care of themselves? Like, how is it through education? Is it through modeling self-care? Like, what do you think is the best way to help people get rid of that negative connotation?
Hmm, that's a very good question. So,
I know we won't solve everything here today, but I'd love to hear your
right.
opinion.
I think for us, it's important to realize that it's okay to also feel that way too. And really don't reject that feeling of guiltiness. It's okay. I feel like it's okay to feel that way sometimes, but self-caring really starts from accepting all the kinds of feelings that you're feeling right now, and then coming into like good terms with you, or coming into, okay, it's okay that I feel that way,
Right.
and starting from there.
Right. Well, I just want to do a quick shout out. I believe that Tommy Grasso is watching. Happy New Year, Tommy.
Happy
um,
New Year, Tommy.
nice to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. And you know, tell us what you learned about yourself in 2020. That's the question of this program. And if you want to write it in the comments, Tommy, that'd be great. Yumi, how? Why don't we? The one thing that you and I have chatted before, and that's why I was so fascinated with what you're doing. Can you tell us a little bit about what is Open Alpha? Like, what does it mean to be a self-care trainer through this program? That would be really, I think, interesting for folks to learn.
So what we do is we share messages that uses music and that strengthens imagination that anybody can use to stay positive and help them stay true to themselves so that they can achieve and pursue their goals and dreams in their life with peace of mind.
Okay.
And
And
mhm,
how is that different from other self-care tools or other self-care programs or teachings? Can you sort of dive in a little bit more about that?
yes. So what's unique about our program is to really finding the method, to using the method so that they can be true to themselves. So we don't have a list of things that they need to do that. It's more of finding the voice that's coming from their own heart. And to do that, sometimes it's like close to Zen, what they do as they meditate and
Right.
as they sit without thinking anything. And so that's what they're doing also, is to be yourself and staying true to yourself. But what we do is, so there are many programs that's similar to
Hmm.
what I do, but what's unique about it is that there is a method that anybody can use and really practice and then make it their own method. So I think that's the strength in our program.
Okay. And what is the foundation? Is it based on a cultural thing or a teacher, a teaching? Like how I'm trying to understand a little bit just because I'm very curious. So I tend to ask a lot of questions, which is why I talk a lot and we have the show. So
Thank you so much for these wonderful questions. Actually, this method is developed in Japan and it's based on the Plato, so ancient Greek Plato, philosopher, Plato's philosophy, and also with Zen's, core of Zen's teachings. So we have both Eastern part of old ancient wisdom along with the Western ancient wisdom, and we combine them together and really go through that. But that is what our course material is based on. But what we actually focus isn't really studying or memorizing about what's all about, but it's more of using that as a hint to really reflect on yourself and understanding yourself through imagination.
okay, okay. I'm getting. I mean, I think it's pretty wonderful that it is the combination of both, Eastern and Western. I've always been a big believer, proponent in wellness and health, combining both approaches. So this makes sense for me, and I think that's why I've been drawn to this. I've been very curious after the conversations that you and I had before. And that's why I was so excited to have you on the show because I'm like, I know that I'm going to have so many more questions. um, if you were to say, if there's a lot of people that don't believe in this type of self care or self help. Um, what would you say to people that would say, why would I work with a self-care trainer? I don't need to. Like there's a lot of people that are open, of course, and then there's people that just completely are shut. They just shut this out. And if you were to be, let's say, doing a conversation, having a conversation or doing a presentation, and they're just completely closed, is it something that you like, what would you say to them? Do you try to convince them or do you just let them just go?
So that's a very good question too. But what I tell people is that, so whenever I talk to people, it's always either they're very interested or they don't know if that how would this help them.
Right.
And so my job is to really explain that. But what I think a lot of the times what we don't realize is how energy consuming and time consuming it is when something sad happens, when something bad happens, or when we feel overwhelmed or stressed out, or when all these negative emotions take control of us. And it happens, it's just a part of our life. And we both, we all have that moment. But and we know that those happen, but a lot of the times we're not prepared to experience all these really like sadness or this overwhelming negative feelings. So staying positive really comes down to, what do we do when we feel negative? When we, what can we do? And knowing what we can do really is going to be powerful because this helps strengthen that base,
Mhm.
that core and foundation in us so that we can overcome without feeling too much overwhelmed.
Right. So, I mean, it's really about what arsenal, what tools do you have in your arsenal to help you with, and there's different tools for situations, or you have one tool that helps you with everything, but it's about arming yourself in a good way to help you deal with life's challenges. And we know 2020 is going to be that conversation for many of us for a long time. And I think it's so important for us to be able to share, new ideas and new tools on this broadcast, because if we're able to help one person, to me, that's what this is all about. The foundation for this conversation and this webisode is hopefully someone hears something that helps them in some way. So I really appreciate, what you're doing. And I know that
Thank you.
there's different ways that we can help one another. And it's
Mhm.
not always in the traditional ways that, we've been taught. There's so
Oh, Carmen, are you there? I think she froze. I think she'll be back in a second. Uh, oh, I think she'll be back soon. Let me see. Okay, so I guess Carmen is, preparing her internet. So please tell me. I guess I can't really see your comment.
okay.
She's back.
We're back. Sorry about
Sorry,
that,
we had just
everyone.
a moment of silence.
I think I don't know, but what I was going to ask you, we're just going to pretend that didn't happen. What I was going to ask you is, in your opinion, Yumi, how does self care affect someone's self confidence? And is there a correlation there?
I think so, because if we can stay true to ourselves, then knowing that we have ourselves to really back ourselves up, then that becomes the foundation in building confidence. We don't, when we feel lost in our life, we can rely on ourselves, and that's a strength.
Yes, absolutely, for sure. I think that that's important to sort of highlight and remember. Um, is there a phrase that you practice, that you personally believe, um, you know, when it comes to self confidence? Is there something that you, in the core of who you are, that you believe and that you practice every day?
So I don't do it every day, but there is a phrase that I take to my heart, which is making promises to myself. So even the smallest promises, I think that because confidence is a lifelong challenge, or like it's a it's big for me, and I was actually not confident at all. And I had to build my confidence up from very bottom.
Right,
And
right.
when I
Little
was
by
doing
little,
that,
right? Step by step.
yes, it's a step by step process.
Mhm.
But what really helped me was to make promises to myself, even the smallest promises that I can think of, and then just keep that promise to myself. And doing that made me feel so much better, and it did help me build my confidence.
Right. That's fantastic. Um, what when you became this self-care trainer, how so you're building your confidence, you heard about it years, and then 3 years ago you started. So what is it that you've been doing in that part of your growth process? Like, what is it that you do? Like, is it just the simple act? Well, it's not simple really, but is it the act of practicing over and over and mastering?
Yes, I think that I have this ideal vision of myself, of who I want
Uh-huh.
to be. And
Yeah.
I know having that will, I have the goal in my life. And it takes so much practice for me to just, it's just a, series of practicing that helps me get to where I want to go to. So yeah, practice and practice and
Yeah.
practice.
Is
But I
that
enjoy that
is
process.
good? Is that incorporated as in part of your self-care? What you do for self-care? Is that what I'm sensing? And I could be wrong, but I feel like this is very connected and very intertwined, but it's different for everybody. So we're really talking about you right now as we're getting to you. Um, how do you define self-confidence for yourself?
My self-confidence, that's a very good question. I think self-confidence comes from really believing in myself that I can do it. And that really is the core in myself, in my confidence.
Right.
Without that, everything just crashes.
Right. Well, and what I'm getting at is that I think a lot of times people think that self confidence is this automatic thing, or that you get it because you're getting older or because you've had so much experience. But it's been my observation and my experience in that part of, for me at any rate, it's this constant um, assessment, constant courage, because we can have all these thoughts and goals and dreams, but at the end of the day, without the courage to take the first step, without the courage to take the second, third, fourth step, we would never advance. And so we would be in the same, oh, I wish that I were this, or I wish I could do that. And to me, self confidence starts with the very first step. And so by the time that you've done this over and over, that I think the end result is building up your self confidence, but it's also knowledge and power and being engaged in life and all of these things that to me are really important. Learning is a constant for me. If it's possible, do you think that you could do a demo with like what you teach and what you help people with, just so that people can get an idea of, I don't know how long you want to take for that, but we have plenty of time. So if you don't mind, if we could do a demo, that'd be great.
Okay, yes, of course. So what I can do is, so my program normally it's divided into different sections, and throughout the sections we use music. It's designed to help. So it's specially edited so that it helps clear distractions in your head, so that it helps you hear what your inner voice is telling you, because that heart, your heart, we believe, is that the core of inner wisdom, and it's like being intuitive. It's like we say, follow your gut. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
like hearing your voice coming from your gut. And
Yeah.
so to do that, we of course need practice.
Yeah.
And by practicing it, it helps us really sense, oh, this is maybe what it means by that. So to help people with that, we have the music. And to be able to use the music, we actually use imagination, the positive imagination, because the reason for that is because if we are, so we're right here at this moment, but if we have all this vision and dream and goal that we want to get to in our life, we
Uh-huh.
first imagine that. And imagination is the first step in making that dream come true. So it's like you've already made that step. But to do that, we use imagination. And this practice that we're going to do right now will help strengthen the imagination in yourself. So let's try doing that. And to do this, what I want you guys to do is to sit comfortably. So,
Okay.
in any posture, it's fine as long as you feel comfortable. And um, what I want you guys to do is, I don't know if you're feeling, maybe some of you are feeling really stressed or anxious, or some of you are, at peace, or feeling happy. Whatever your feeling is right now, what I want you guys to do is to embrace all the feelings you're feeling right now, because being positive really starts from acknowledging and accepting all the kinds of feelings you're feeling right now. So that's what we're going to do. So let's see. To do this, imagine that you feel really calm and relaxed, and you're at this place that you've ever dreamed of. So it could be, it could be Hawaii, it could be anywhere that you want to travel to.
Okay. Okay.
It could be, or it could be your ideal world, like the goal of your life. What your goal is like, what your success is like. That's also fine too.
Mhm.
And just enjoy how your imagination takes you to. So I have the speaker here in front of me, and if you
Okay.
guys are ready,
Yep.
I'm going to
There's
play
a
the
new
music.
poem. I
And
hope that this exercise helps you a little bit. I'm excited to try this.
yes, yes. So, Carmen, so just make sure you feel relaxed, and then let's close our eyes,
Okay.
and we're going to just enjoy the moment.
Okay.
Okay. So,
I'm sorry. I have another question. And we'll do this for like 5 minutes for the demo.
yes. So I have one music that I have for you guys, and
Okay.
this is going to be a classical music that lasts about 5 minutes,
Okay, perfect. Okay.
and then we can talk afterward.
All right.
Okay. All right. Oops. Welcome
Wow. Okay, I'm back.
how how did you think of it?
I actually do this quite often, but I've never thought that it was something that was was a teachable thing.
Mm,
So I mean, I went right to my place that I've imagined since I was a little girl. So it's very interesting to me because I've done this, but not like this. So the fact that you had this music, this piece of music, and it fit perfectly with where I go,
mm.
it was pretty interesting.
Oh, what were you doing in that place that you always go to since you were a kid?
What am I doing? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always in the garden, and I know exactly what it smells like. I can feel it. I can feel the earth. I'm always in my cowboy boots and my jeans and a white shirt. It's a sunny day. There's a little breeze. It smells like lavender. I just, yeah. I've been there many, many times.
And the way that you describe it, like I can feel that it's so descriptive. It feels like it's a real world.
Yes. And I always felt, even when I was very, very small, I always felt that that was my, I don't like the word retirement, but that's like, that was, I don't know the location of it, but I know that I am going there someday when it's the right time, and I'll just know it.
That's awesome, Carmen.
Thank you. Thank you. So, for those of you watching, I hope that you all got to go to a special place, and maybe it's a new place, not a familiar place like it is for me, but maybe it's a new place. And I think that there's something really beautiful and wonderful about being able to just take. That was just 5 minutes, and
Mm,
I think a lot of times, Yumi, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of times we don't even take 5 minutes to eat, you know, lunch properly, much less, let our imaginations take us somewhere beautiful and calm and peaceful. So hopefully,
mm.
we've shown how we could do it. Like we could take 5 minutes every day as
We
part of our
can.
self-care process, right?
Yes, and in that 5 minutes, your mind really changes.
Right.
For 5 minutes and after 5 minutes, so it's really worth it.
Right. Where do you go? Do you have different places, or do you go to a specific place when you practice this?
So I have different places in my mind. It's always interesting where my mind takes me to or where the music takes me to. But right now in this music, so I love beaches. So
Oh,
I was at the beach laying on the sand and had a margarita of my
oh, I like yours
life.
too. That'll work.
Yeah, I don't normally drink cocktails, but I had it with me in my imagination, and I was just enjoying that moment of it was very sunny,
Yeah.
and it just felt peaceful laying down on the beach. I
Right.
think it felt like this was after I've accomplished all my dreams, and I was just enjoying my time for myself.
Nice. Um, I have what I call sort of the quick draw segment. So, was there anything else that you wanted to share about this process, about this, what we can do for ourselves? Is there anything else that you feel that people should know before we move on to the getting to know you a little bit better?
Yes, I wanted to add one thing. to what you just said about, traveling to your own little place in your mind. It's actually, that's why we actually tell people during our program is to, this is in a way, is to create a safe space in your mind that you can always travel to, where no one will distract you and it's your own world, and you're free to do anything you've ever wanted.
Mhm.
And this is a way of relaxing ourselves and free ourselves from stress. So
Right.
that's what I wanted to add.
Okay, no, that's wonderful. Thank you. I think that I think sometimes the power of our own imagination, if we can tap into it, and of course for me, combined with music and being in tune with your body, with your spirit, I think it's really important. But again, this is new for some people, and so hopefully it's opening up your heart and opening up your minds to something that might help you with, especially with all the residual effects of what we have all gone through as a nation, as a community, as a global situation. I think, in my opinion, Yumi, like the more tools that we have that can help us find peace of mind, I'm all for it. So, but now I would love to this, what I call the quick draw section. I have maybe 3 questions for you. And it's just, again, no pressure. You can say pass if you like, and I'll just ask another question. But the
Okay.
idea is just now that we're relaxed, and then to just answer the first thing that comes to your mind. And I think sometimes it leads to some more, fun, interesting conversations. And we still have plenty of time. If you don't mind, we can go for another few minutes, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
So my first question to you would be, what would you say is your go-to advice for living your best life?
Follow your heart.
Follow your heart. I love it. It's that simple, right? Follow your heart. Okay, that's a good one. If you had a chance to teach this method to anyone in the world that you haven't met, that you haven't worked with, who would you want to work with, like right now? And why?
So I'd like to help anybody who's struggling with their life, who's lost in their life. What can I do? What does it mean to be truly happy? Anyone struggling with that, this is really, this can be life changing for them. So um,
Okay.
those are that came to my mind.
Yep. Is there any one person, one specific person, celebrity, anyone that you would like to that you haven't had a chance to introduce them to this methodology?
Um, I don't know if this is controversial, but can I say the first person that came to my mind?
Sure.
Maybe Trump.
Ooh, that would be an interesting session, wouldn't it? I don't even know what to say about that one.
I
Yeah,
know.
but
I don't know why it came
yeah,
to
no,
my
but I mean
mind.
that's the beauty of these questions, right? I think you have, just based on that answer, I think you have more courage, more confidence than anyone I've ever met.
Oh my god. Sorry if I
I
offended anybody.
never would have thought that. That's a good one. See, this is what I like these questions, because you get some really cool, interesting answers. I'm going to ask you one more, if you don't mind. What 3 words do other people use to describe you?
They tell me, let me see, I can I say the word that came to my mind?
Sure.
Okay. So so many people tell me I'm like an angel.
Oh, I
Although I
believe that.
know,
I believe
but
it. I can see that. Yeah.
um, they tell me I'm innocent.
Huh?
But a lot of people tell me that they see me as soft, but I have a strength, like the core in myself that's very strong. I guess they're saying maybe stubborn. I don't know.
Well, stubborn is not necessarily a negative thing. Well, I think those are I can totally see why people would use these three words. I would also add, which when you were speaking earlier, I thought, oh, how interesting. But I would also add, I see you as a warrioress. And I don't know why that, I mean, I know why in getting to know you, but earlier in the conversation, that word came to me and I just couldn't figure out how to fit it into what we were talking about. But yeah, I do. I feel like sometimes people have this notion that when you are kind and gentle, that you're not strong. And that I never got that vibe that you weren't strong. Definitely kind and gentle and helpful, and you want to, teach people and work with people to help them. But I did not in 1 second ever think that you weren't strong. So that's my word for you as warrioress.
Oh, thank you, Carmen. That
Thank
means a lot to me.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Thank you. I really have enjoyed this. I think this is a great way to start the year. And hopefully it just helps people open up their minds and their hearts to, how to live a better life. If someone wanted to, contact you on social media, or do you have a website or an email? And can you share that with us?
Yes. So I do have a Facebook page. It's called Open Alpha, and I can share that with everyone at the end of this live session.
Okay, we'll
I
put
have
it
a
in the comments. Yeah,
Yes,
perfect.
I'll put it in the comments.
Okay,
And I also have a website. So for anybody who wants to contact me, feel free to message me on Facebook or, feel free to email me. My email address is on my website and my phone number is on my website as well. So any way that's preferred.
great. Thank you. Thank you so much for spending your evening with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you
I
so much
know,
too.
thank you. I know that your words for everyone was follow your heart. Do you have any last, sort of words of wisdom before you go that you would also like to share with folks?
Hmm. So let's see. If if you feel helpless or if anybody is feeling lonely, make sure that you are actually with yourself. So your heart is always with you. So if for some reason like you feel really overwhelmed and sad and need help, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm here for anybody who needs help. And who not by help by me I don't mean like, really like babysitting anybody, but it's more like being there for, I guess, being there for people.
That's
If that makes
wonderful. You are just so lovely. Thank you so much, Yumi, for spending tonight with us and for being my first guest for the year. I think this was a wonderful start the new year. So thank you.
I feel honored. Thank you so much for this time, Carmen.
Thank you. I'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye, Yumi.
Bye.
And thank you all for joining us on the first session of Confidence Strategies 2021. I hope that we were able to at least start the conversation with you about the importance of self-care so that you're able to live the best life that you can live. And we will put all the information, Yumi will put all her contact information on the Confidence Strategies Facebook page. We really would appreciate it if you like and comment on our social media and share, if you know that might benefit from some more information. That's what this video is for. So thank you so much for joining me. I think it's great. I would really like to say that, there are some continuing changes that we're going to be doing with this broadcast. It's still a work in progress, but I look forward to this every time that I get to share this. And I hope that you get to watch it in a replay. And if something resonates with you, that you're able to take action and be courageous and start living your best life. I hope you all stay healthy and safe. We will continue to evolve, to explore the possibilities, and we're going to thrive together in positivity. For me, that's the second thing that I learned about myself in 2020. Besides this overwhelming feeling of peace of heart and peace of mind that's so important to me, that goes in conjunction with just living the most powerful, positive life that you can. And I'm grateful and honored to be your host. And I'll see you next month on the third Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful evening and be well. Thank you.